Albedo was never the villain. Here's the truth. In today's video, we're not talking about a hero, we're talking about a villain. Or should we even call him a villain? I'll let you decide that by the end of this video. The reason I'm saying this about Albedo will become clear as we dive deeper into his story. Instead of focusing on the evil side that everyone already knows, I'm going to show you a side of Albedo that most Ben 10 fans have either missed or never thought about. And once you've heard the entire story, I want your honest opinion. Was Albedo always evil, or was he pushed down that path? So, without wasting any more time, let's get started. Most Ben 10 fans believe that Albedo was evil from the very moment he appeared in Ben 10 Alien Force. But that's actually not true. If you've watched Ben 10 Omniverse, especially Albedo's flashback episodes, you'll know that he wasn't born a villain. Sure, you could say he was arrogant. Albedo definitely had a huge ego. But having an ego doesn't automatically make someone evil. Everyone has a different personality. Even Azimuth himself has always been arrogant. From the very beginning, he believed he was the smartest being in the universe. And honestly, he still does. Back when Albedo worked as Azimuth's assistant, he already had that same confidence and pride. But despite his ego, he genuinely respected Azimuth. He followed his orders and trusted his judgment. Then one day, Albedo discovered something that completely changed his perspective: the Omnitrix. The greatest invention in the galaxy had been given to a 10-year-old human child. And from Albedo's point of view, that child was simply using it for fun. What Albedo didn't know was everything Ben had already accomplished with the Omnitrix. He never saw Ben risking his life to save innocent people. He never witnessed Ben protecting entire worlds. All Albedo saw was a kid running around with the most advanced piece of technology ever created. So naturally, he believed the Omnitrix was being wasted. In his mind, he deserved it. He believed he could use it far more responsibly than a careless child ever could. So Albedo went to Azimuth and argued that the Omnitrix should be taken away from Ben and given to someone truly qualified. But Azimuth refused. Why? Because Azimuth already knew exactly who Ben Tennyson was. Professor Paradox had already shown him Ben's incredible future. Azimuth knew that Ben would accomplish things no one else in the universe could. Ben had already proven that the Omnitrix was capable of far more than anyone had originally imagined. So Azimuth trusted Ben. But Albedo never knew any of this. From his perspective, Azimuth was making a terrible decision. Frustrated by the rejection, Albedo decided to prove that he was right. If Azimuth wouldn't give him the Omnitrix, he would build his own. And that's exactly what he did. The Omnitrix you see Albedo using in Alien Force isn't the original. It's a copy that Albedo secretly created himself. Unfortunately, while creating it, he made one tiny mistake. A mistake that would completely ruin his life. His copy accidentally synchronized with Azimuth's original Omnitrix. As a result, Albedo's DNA became permanently locked to Ben Tennyson's default human DNA. Instead of returning to his natural Galvan body, he was trapped, looking exactly like Ben. From that moment on, Albedo wasn't trying to conquer the universe. He wasn't trying to become evil. He had only one goal: to get his real body back. And to do that, he needed Ben's Omnitrix. Desperate to restore his original Galvan body, Albedo began searching for Ben Tennyson. To find him, he fought countless Forever Knights, destroyed their fortress, and followed every lead he could. Eventually, he found Ben. And that's when one of the most intense battles in Ben 10 Alien Force began. Both of them kept transforming into different aliens, countering each other's every move. It wasn't just a fight, it was two Omnitrix users pushing their technology to the limit. The battle continued until something unexpected happened. Albedo's Omnitrix synchronized with Ben's Omnitrix. That single moment completely exposed what Albedo had done. And just then, Azimuth arrived. After learning everything, Azimuth immediately confiscated Albedo's Omnitrix and sentenced him to prison. Now, here's where I think things become really interesting. Yes, Albedo made a mistake. He deserved to be punished. But did he really deserve that punishment? Think about it from Albedo's perspective for just a moment. Imagine waking up trapped inside someone else's body. You don't even look like yourself anymore. Then you're abandoned on a distant alien planet, locked inside a prison, miles away from your home, separated from your family, your friends, and everything you've ever known. That sounds horrifying, and that's exactly what happened to Albedo. His crime wasn't destroying planets. He didn't commit genocide. He didn't betray the universe. He simply copied the Omnitrix because he believed he could use it better than Ben. Was that wrong? Absolutely. But was a lifetime of isolation in an alien prison really a fair punishment? Personally, I don't think so. And surprisingly, even Ben seemed to question Azimuth's decision. Ben himself pointed out that Albedo hadn't committed some unforgivable crime. He simply stole his appearance. Maybe, just maybe, Azimuth should have given him one chance to make things right. Unfortunately, that chance never came. Later, during the final episodes of Ben 10 Alien Force, we see Albedo return. At first glance, it looks like he wants to kill Ben. But if you pay close attention, that's not actually his real objective. His true goal was never Ben's life. It was Ben's Omnitrix. Because Ben's Omnitrix contained the one thing Albedo desperately needed: his original Galvan DNA. By now, Albedo had realized something important. Azimuth was never going to fix him. If Azimuth truly intended to help, why leave him imprisoned in the first place? So Albedo decided to solve the problem himself. He broke into Azimuth's laboratory and stole the Omnitrix core. Using his incredible intelligence, he completed the device on his own. But after activating it, he discovered another devastating problem. The Omnitrix contained DNA samples from countless alien species, but it didn't contain Galvan DNA. Without that, he still couldn't become himself again. That meant there was only one solution left. He needed Ben's Omnitrix. Around this time, Vilgax also wanted Ben's Omnitrix. Their goals aligned. Vilgax wanted its power. Albedo wanted his original body, so the two temporarily worked together. But if you know Vilgax, you know he never keeps his promises. The moment he got what he wanted, he betrayed Albedo. He kept the Omnitrix for himself and discarded him without hesitation. Then Ben arrived. During the battle aboard Vilgax's ship, Ben destroyed the Omnitrix. Once again, everything Albedo had worked so hard to build was gone. At that point, there was nothing left for him to do except escape. And that's exactly what he did. But even after all of this, Albedo still wasn't chasing power. He still wasn't trying to rule the universe. He had only one dream: to become a Galvan again. And no matter how impossible it seemed, he refused to give up. After everything that had happened, Albedo was no longer thinking about fixing his life. He wanted revenge. And honestly, can you really blame him? From Albedo's perspective, the two people responsible for destroying his life were Azimuth and Ben. Azimuth had imprisoned him instead of helping him. Ben had unintentionally ruined every opportunity he had to become a Galvan again. So Albedo made a choice. If they wouldn't give him his life back, he would make them suffer too. Later in Ben 10 Omniverse, we see Albedo searching for the polymorphic crystal. This crystal was the final piece he needed to stabilize his DNA permanently. Once he obtained it, he finally succeeded. For the first time in years, Albedo became a true Galvan again. His mind was stable. His DNA was stable. Everything he had been fighting for had finally been restored. But instead of moving on, he had already changed on the inside. His next target was Azimuth, the man he believed had ruined his entire life. Albedo kidnapped Azimuth, stole his brilliant mind, and set an elaborate trap for Ben. Eventually, Ben and his team managed to stop him. Azimuth regained his body, but instead of showing mercy, he did something that made Albedo's situation even worse. Azimuth tampered with Albedo's DNA stabilizer. While Albedo was being transported back to prison, the stabilizer failed. Once again, he was trapped inside Ben's human form. But this time, Azimuth went even further. Previously, Albedo had been stuck looking like 16-year-old Ben. Now, he was transformed into 10-year-old Ben instead. Everything Albedo had worked so hard to achieve was taken away yet again. At this point, I genuinely think Azimuth should have given him another chance. Think about it. Years had already passed. Albedo had suffered enough. He had paid for his mistakes. He had lost his career, his identity, his freedom, and even his own body. Maybe this was the moment Azimuth should have helped him instead of punishing him again. Who knows? Maybe Albedo could have changed. Maybe he could have become Azimuth's assistant once again. Maybe he would have realized that copying the Omnitrix had been a mistake. But none of that happened. Instead, he was pushed even further into darkness. From this point onward, Albedo truly became a villain, not because he was born one, but because years of anger, humiliation, and betrayal had completely changed him. That's why we later see him joining major conflicts, including the multiverse storyline involving Vilgax and Eon. His actions became more extreme, his hatred toward Ben continued to grow, and eventually, he even attacked Galvan Prime itself, all in an attempt to get revenge on Azimuth. Now here's something interesting. This isn't even the first time Azimuth has handled someone this way. Think about malware. Azimuth also failed him. Instead of fixing malware when he had the chance, he left him broken. And look at what malware eventually became. Maybe that's a discussion for another video, but it's hard to ignore the similarities. Sometimes, the greatest heroes create their own greatest enemies, and maybe that's exactly what happened with Albedo. So after looking at his entire story, what do you think? Was Albedo truly evil from the very beginning? Or was he simply a brilliant scientist who made one terrible mistake, then spent years being punished until revenge became the only thing left in his life? Personally, I don't believe Albedo was born a villain. I think he became one. And the people who played the biggest role in that transformation were the very heroes who were supposed to stop villains, not create them. But that's just my opinion. Now I want to hear yours.